clear.
This is good, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, when you're watching. This is a guy who's played thousands and thousands of shows and many, many, many sessions as well. So heed his advice. He knows what he's talking about. So do you use the same head configuration when you record?
Yes, yeah. It's the tuning. It's that one sound. I don't know. Gretsch drums have a sound to them, and I can, you can obviously get if someone really has a specific sound they're looking for. I go more to the series of drums to achieve that instead of
Yes.
relying on heads.
And you have which series? I know you have a few different drum kits.
Yeah, no, I have a USA Custom. I have.
What are the sizes of those? Sorry, let's go.
I usually stick to. I like a 12 by 8, 14, 14, 16, 16.
Yeah.
And that one's a 22 by 16 bass drum on that kit. I've got a Brooklyn coming with a 22 by 16 and a 13 by 8, and I think it's a 13 by 8 and a 16 by 16. That's coming.
And what color?
That's a kind of a satin blue. It's in a lot of this. I think the Brooklyn series, they did that little micro kit. That's the color.
Yes.
You'll see it in all the promotion. That's the color that I'm a huge Edmonton Oiler fan, as everyone knows. So anything blue I can get my hands on.
Oh.
That's my favorite color.
so the USA's and a Brooklyn coming.
Yeah.
And you have a broadcaster kit as well.
I have a broadcaster kit in antique. I'm so bad with names, but it's an old antique look.
Pearl? Like a pearl?
Antique, yeah. That is a 24 by 14. That's a 12 by 8 and a 14 by 14 and 16, 16 in that one as well.
What's the difference between that 24 that you have there and the other bass drums you're going to get the Brooklyn, but what's the difference sonically?
Sonically, the difference just in that size alone is a little bit more immediate attack, and it has a little bit more of a bump in the mid-range. So if you listen to old vintage Gretsch kits or old Ludwigs, let's say, there's that mid-range snap that really, if you're familiar with the D112 microphone, a lot of guys use that bass drum microphone to achieve that mid-range bump. The broadcaster just does that naturally. And it's not even just the size; it's that wood. Yeah. If you listen to Ash Sohn stuff, yeah, it's like it has that sound where it's immediate. You can put it in a mix, and it's hitting you, but it's not hogging up all the sonic space. So that's the beauty of the broadcasters in general, is they're big, but they don't hog all that sonic room to me.
Yeah, very good. I wanted to ask you a little bit about how the career developed from you playing with your brother to where now is you're probably the go-to guy, one of the go-to Canadian drummers, I guess maybe known in the country rock style, but I mean you do play other things as well. How did things happen? Did you go to school? Did you study?
Yeah, well, for me it started, I went to Red Deer College. I looked at a few schools. Both my brother and I attended together, oddly enough. We were kind of inseparable. No. Yeah, he waited a year because he's a year older than me. Then we went 2 years there together. I picked Red Deer College because a lot of the other schools are really, really jazzy. And I like jazz, like, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not my thing. I should definitely get better at it. But I've luckily made a career at playing country and all the stuff that I do. So it was 2 years at Red Deer College, and really out of that I went back to Saskatchewan for a short period of time, and then got a call to go on the road. And this was the years where you'd play 6 nights a week, week after week in the clubs. And this was the Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson era, when every place had a country bar where you could play. I joined these bands and literally went on the road for a decade at least, like just playing 6 nights a week. There wasn't a heck of a lot of studio work then. It was because the live demands were just so big, and to me that was the best training ground, because stuff broke. You were sick. You literally went through every facet of the industry that you could, and got paid for it. So I was very lucky to be able to do it that way.
That's amazing. I remember reading Jonathan Mover saying that it weeds out the weaklings. That's
it sure did.
And it really does, going out on the road. How did you connect with the members, let's say Lisa, the bass player, Lisa Dodds,
Hmm.
how did
Yeah.
you connect with members of Gord's band? Was it from relationships that you built back in the 90s?
Yeah, actually, that's the thing. The guitar player Ryan Davidson and I have known each other well over 20 years. We played in bar bands together. He was a little younger than me, so we brought him into a band I was in, and yeah, over 20 years together. Lisa had her own band called Shameless. She's a road dog. She can outlast any of the guys out there. Um, and oddly enough, the other guys, Robin Peltier, the one guitar player,
Mm-hmm.
I've known him since we grew up in Prince Albert together. We were on Much Music when we were 15 years old and playing metal and spandex and
What?
awful things like that. Yeah,
Oh man, I hope there's pictures.
yeah, there is somewhere, but I don't have them.
That's amazing.
Um, and both Robin and Mark Puffer, the acoustic player, I played at Adam Gregory's band, who some people
Yeah.
might know. I was in that band for a long time. Did the Nashville thing, lived in Nashville. So it's really, knowing it's all about relationships. Anything in the music business or life in general is relationships, and that's really from the club days right up to the Adam Gregory days when I was, sleeping on a mattress beside a dryer. There was, I think, 6 or 7 of us living in a loft trying to make it in Nashville, and those are friendships, and they're all friends I hold dear to this day and stay in touch with. So.
Yeah, I find for sure that, and you hear this as a constant, that it is, if you're a nice person, you're a good
Yeah,
person, you're a good player, you need to be easy to work with, you're going
yeah,
to work. But if you're a jerk, you could be super talented, but nobody's going to want to play with you. So
yeah. I always say that to young musicians. Just be a good hang, be somebody that people want to be around, be supportive,
yeah,
and just be a good human. If someone's having a birthday, wish them a happy birthday. If they're having a tough day, and social media, brings us into people's lives in ways that we never had before.
right.
So just take a minute, like get outside yourself for a minute and wish others well, and you know that'll
No,
pay off in the end. You don't want it's not a payoff thing. It's maybe the wrong wording, but
no,
you'll have people there when you need them.
yeah, and that is key.
Yeah.
Why did you? I guess I wanted to ask you why you didn't pursue going to Nashville full time, or things were just going so well at home for you.
Yeah, I did the thing with Adam and Gregory. That was 2006 to 2008. So I did do that. I lived there. I had the work visas and all that stuff in place
But
to make the
yep,
move.
yep,
Unfortunately, it happened when the crash happened.
the
So
economy.
yeah, the people that were funding our way there, that was kind of keeping us afloat, they just didn't have the money anymore to do it. But then I returned home, and I honestly, yeah, it was just so busy. My life was in Canada. I still had a house, 2 sons, wife. Just got back to work, kind of like what we all do as musicians. It's if the phone's not ringing, you make it ring. So really, I've just been busy, and no complaints. I love Canada. I'm so grateful for it.
It's an amazing place, and having
Yeah,
traveled throughout the States a fair bit myself, I love coming home. I love
sure.
coming home
Yeah,
to cottage country, essentially where we are. And but I gotta say, I love California. And
yeah,
California, man, I can see why people would want to live there. In some respects,
absolutely.
it's a little crazy. I wanted to ask you, kind of parlaying from the Nashville part of your